Okay, in this lesson, I want to explain an interesting thing called visualize scene. As you can see, for example, in this object, I want to first select this object. As I said before, we have three scene state here that store the material of that object. We have two methods for bringing the material. As I said before, if you select it, you can use the multi-action with click on it. You can use the scene lister. Another interesting method is using visualize. A symbol will be appear up the object, and you can by click it's visualizing with an interesting 3D model. It appear and you can select the material from it by clicking. Okay, let's begin. First, going to the here, and you can visualize scene option. If you click that, it tells you please which object you want to make a visual for that. Select the object and hit the plus icon. As you can see, this geometry, when you select it, this geometry will be open here, and this is our trigger. A trigger will be appear here. You can click N and select this object to appear exactly above that object. When you click that object, the material appear here, and you can see the material. Okay. We can add the scene state visual or visualize or animation visualize. Okay, first I want to when you select it, it's automatically the sequence will be appear here. If you select it here, a scene state will be open here. You can define a lot of tab. I make the visual of that. I make a scene state of material in a previous lesson. You can refer it. We have two material here. Okay, this is the map that you have to assign the material and scene state to that. Here you can first select the list name here. This is an first trigger that this is a trigger to this object. As you can see, this is a geometry 6 assigned to that trigger. Exactly, this is a trigger, and we have to assign this scene state to this trigger. Visual presentation material. As you can see, the material will be open. For example, if you want to show the shape to this cube, and you can simply click and drag the scene to this area, to this list. Click and drag, and done. It's not important which is up, which is down. Let's select it. It's highlighted here also. As you can see it here. Sorry, I think scene 9. Yes, okay. And everything is done. Save, of course. Don't forget to save and then close. It's very simple. As you can see, we define we want to specify these three scene state to this trigger. This trigger is connected to this object. And if you going to show in a viewer, sorry. Oh yes, that's okay. Sorry for that. Waiting for loading and coming here. For bringing in a visual, as you can see, as I said before, this is a collision base for grabbing object. For grabbing sequence, you have to click H to begin hand, and this is a tree visual mode. As you can see, if you had a tree, a trigger will be appear here. If you click on this trigger, as you can see, the visual will be appear here, and by clicking on this material you can change the material of that object. It's very interesting. Okay, this is a visual material, and you can do a lot of things with that. Okay, another visual is for 3D model. I use this 3D model to visual for hiding and showing the object that you want. First, I have to make all of these objects one parent, and I want to assign the trigger to the parent of each other because we want to hide and show them. You will see that. It's very interesting. Select all of them with control, right click and add a parent. We have an assembly here. And I want to assign the visual, as you can see, this is trigger number 1 was for material. Add another trigger. And this trigger here is to assembly. This is an assembly. As you can see, you can select this list, and this is a list of the trigger. Okay, bring the trigger here above this tree. Okay, I want to play with hide and show the object. So select the list, and here I select the model from 3D scene. Okay, this is our list, model from 3D scene. And first save it. And I have to make a scene state because we have to connect the scene state to this trigger. Going to the scene states, manage and add another tab here to call it to show and hide objects. Show and hide. All right. Okay, and this is a tab for show and hide. Okay, for show and hide these 3 objects. Okay, first we select all of them and hide them, and I want to show this first object here. Show. You can click H for hide and S for show. Hide S. Select these 3 objects. You have to select them because we want to capture from the selection. And here, and capture from selection. And I want to just capture and show hide selection. And you have to select them. The first scene state will be appear here. Just it show this object. And then again select it, hide it, and show this object again. Select all the objects, 3 to any one object that you want, and in this time scene set from the selection. As you can see in this part, just the MacBook is show, and again hide it and then show this. Select 3 object and scene state from the selection, and in this time this part will be selected and everything done. We have a scene state. If you click and drag a scene state, you can play with the hide and show in this method. Okay, and I want to click in this 3 object, and you can change the position. You can capture scene state from the selection, but the main important thing is select object and capture from selection, not whole scene. And that's it. And I want to assign this scene state to this trigger. For doing that, I have to go here and visual option, go to this trigger. This trigger, and click the scene state and click and drag the list to this list. And that's it. And another thing that is, if you click this trigger, we have to see actual 3D model that appear here to the round and click on them. So we have to, when you select this scene state, this is a scene state. This is a thumbnail level scene state, and we have to assign a real 3D scene state to model selection here. You will see that. It's very easy. The scene state number 4 is this object. Select object and click on this, and this object will be assigned here. select another scene state, and this is a MacBook, select that, click, and assign this real 3D object to this scene state. You will see that, don't worry. Select that, sorry, select this scene first, select this scene, select the plane and connect it and save it. Everything is done. Now we are going to the viewer and you will see what happened. It's very easy. As you can see, we have to go to tree, and this trigger will be open. If you click on it, as you can see, those three objects that assigned to the scene state will be appear here. If you click on laptop, the laptop will be appear, the pot, the saw. We saw that. Okay, so what happened here? This is a trigger. Okay, this is a trigger. We assign three scene state to that trigger. Close that. We assign a trigger to this assembly that contains three objects, and we play with hide and show and store and capture scene state of them, and then assign to this assembly that contains three objects a trigger. This trigger, you can change the material of the trigger. This is an sorry for this trigger. We have now another. Okay, that's not important. Here it's an emitter. You can, this is a material, this is an emitter material. You can change the color of that. For example, if you want to make it red, turn to red, and change the emission and the glow for better seeing that. Okay, it's an emitter material. And if you go into the interaction to the visualize, as you can see, this assemble assigned to the list one is in a trigger. Okay, this is an object, it's a trigger, and this trigger we selected from 3D model. If it isn't a label, it's in text. If you want, you can make it a text. And from 3D scene, okay? And this is an scene state. To this scene state, we need a thumbnail. This time, we need a 3D thumbnail. You can select the 3D thumbnail from here. You select the actual 3D model here and select the thumbnail for that, and you can see the thumbnail there. Don't forget to save anytime. And you can do a lot of things with these ideas. And of course, you can change the visibility and the light of that emitter, this trigger. Okay, I will be go to another example. Okay, you have to play to the 1, 2 so for collision, this is the 3 for list, for transfer that we explained it, and for measurement. Go to the 3, and as you can see, you can select it here. As you can see, emitter is very high dense, and you can select any object and the scene state play and play in a scene state. It's very interesting. Another example that I want to explain is play with animation sequence. For example, this object, or which object? As you can see, we have an animation here for that object. Okay, that's okay. Okay, this is an animation and transform. You can visualize with that animation. Yes, I want to make it that. No, this is a sequence. We need this is a scene state. We need a sequence of that. Okay, that's not important. We make a sequence of that. Go and select that object and make some animation for that object. Bring it here. And keyframe it from this position. It's not important which frame. You can but it is important if you want to fast animation and slow animation. Position this, and we have an animation. Select all, make a sequence number 1, S1, and delete the keyframe. I want to bring the object in this direction, and sorry. First we have to keyframe, change the indicator, going here and rotate it. And as you can see, we have an animation like this. Select all keyframe and sequence number 2. I want to store this animation to the sequence number 2 and delete the keyframe. Bring it here. I want to bring the animation in this direction, and forget again. First keyframe, then bring the animation here and rotate it. And we have this animation. Select the object and store this keyframe of that object to the S3 and delete keyframe. Okay, that's enough. And we have a sequence here. If you play it, as you can see, we have this animation and this animation, and we can visualize the animation, of course. Okay, first we need the 3D object as an arrow. We can go in here and a symbol and make a 3D arrow here. And select them, make them bigger, and make a copy. You can rotate it in this direction. It's not important exactly. Go select that, copy that. I want to make them as a visual. And select all of them, bring them up a little bit and rotate it to face our camera. I want to assign animation to this object. When you click on this object, you can play the animation. You can do it by this object and action. You can simply play animation play or play sequence. It's very easy. You can do it now. You can select play sequence, and you can select which sequence do you want to play with that. This sequence. It's very easy. Okay. And you can see sequence number name is here. You can make a loop or start active. You can select that here. Play sequence. Sequence number 1, let's go up, select that, play sequence, this, I think it's wrong, but it's true. Okay, then when you go to this viewer, this is one way to doing that. Okay, when you select it, it's go there. When you select it, it's go in this direction. And when you select it, it's this direction. Okay, it's a way to doing that. Another way is visualize. Make the visualize. Select the object. Go to the interactive visualize scene and select that object. Add another visualize here, another trigger here, and hit N to select this object. This is our trigger. You can make it bigger if you want. And this is our trigger. And we have to select the active animation, and we can simply click and drag the animation to the list. You can visualize the animation. It's very interesting. Use these 3 arrows. You can select them and make them none. I want to deactivate it at this mode. You can make none. And I want to use those 3 arrows as a symbol around that trigger. So animation number 1, S. Which object do you want to assign to that object? This is S2, I think, okay? Yes, S2 is go to this direction, I think. S2. Okay, select that. Going to the list, you have to select model from 3D, and after that select it, and you have to assign to this animation and symbol. Select that that object S1. I think this mode is. You can select it. S2, this way, select it, and S3, select first and assign it, and save it, and everything is done. And you can, if you don't want to see them, you can hide them or bring them below. Okay, and show. I assigned this 3D model to the animation of that trigger. It's very easy. Because of the animation, it takes too long. And we go to the tree mode. And when you select that, those arrows will be appear. And it's you click that. As you can see, you can play the animation of them. It's very interesting. Okay, now you learn how to visualize the animation, material, and hide and show object, or organizing the object in your scene. For example, a sofa, organize a sofa, for example, in your house. That's very easy, and you can test it. Hello my friends, to continue these tutorials on YouTube, subscribe us, like us, and hit the bell icon. And now you will be alerted about all of the amazing videos that we release.